Hey, nope. You got your minutes in your packet. Look over those. Any problem with those?
I'll make a motion to
Motion
approve them.
approved. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved, Chad.
Okay.
Larry, do you have any to add this morning, this afternoon? Anything you want to talk about this afternoon before? Jeff?
No, sir. No.
Jeff?
No.
I'm
Tim?
good. Okay.
Any unfinished business?
Hey, I do have a question. I've been going out 560 a lot, and at the entrance of Bethlehem Road, is that for windmills or is that a new? Yeah, I figured it was. I did, because we worked on that entrance years
Getting
ago.
around taking that telephone.
I figured it was. Okay. Just curious.
Is that on the 560 end, right?
Yeah.
I went in that way the other day and I saw it.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. They are making a lot of room for, they did that over in Elk Garden at the Pinnacle, man. They made a big old entrance over there. Cut trees away.
Nice storm, they bought a guy's house and tore it down so they could get them in there.
Wow. Huh.
I think they're gonna be substantially longer blades that they're gonna put on those.
Oh.
They told me that Imhoff's there, if their house would have been out about 2 foot closer to the road, they would have bought it from him
Huh.
and moved him out.
Maybe we can give them a special
But they were
exception to
able
build
to make it
a
in.
porch on or something. Maybe they'll buy it or something. Well, thanks for that. Curious.
Is that a new project that you're talking about, or is that just?
I think it's an extension of, because there's windmills already there. They must be adding some
They're
more. Or
existing.
they're-
Yeah,
It's existing windmills, and from what I've heard, they're gonna replace the engine housing, the nacelle, and the blades.
Oh, okay.
they'll-
They're gonna make it taller too, or
They
they're
have to
tearing
tear it
everything
down.
down using the same.
Wow.
material.
I believe, yeah.
There's something inside that they can't reach down into the frame and pull out. So they gotta take the pieces apart, take that out and replace it, then put all on the back. And then put
Wonder
it
if the
on.
base is still substantial
And the
enough.
blades are like
I heard they're doing
20
studies
one
on
big
it.
as big.
Oh, because if it's all bigger, you know how you build things, you just build them big enough. But if you're putting something bigger there, it might need a bigger base, huh?
I heard they were doing studies
Oh,
to check the base out.
But they are big.
That's what I heard. Cause I know somebody that was hauling gravel and stuff, and he was asking, why are you digging around the base or whatever? And they said, well, we're doing a study here to make sure they can hold the bigger wind turbine. So with that, the one passage of the ordinance or whatever it was for, how long the blades were, how tall the structure was, and it has to be 2.5 times that to be away from your, the nearest residence. So if the ones on top of the mountain here are grandfathered in, but not if they're putting new ones up, right? Wouldn't they
I
have
don't-
to be
so that-
subject to those limitations if they're adding to?
It was a state bill, so I have to look, see how it was written. It may say any project approved, by the Energy Association that does it in Maryland prior to a certain date is grandfathered, so they're not, I don't believe they're getting a new approval from the state, so they may be
They should be
grandfathered from that.
grandfathered in if they double the size of the tower. I'm exaggerating. If they double size of the tower,
Mhm.
they can literally fall into somebody's home. Not that it
Mhm.
would, but surely you can't be grandfathered in once you're making it taller.
Nice part for us, where it's gonna extend the tax base out. It helps there.
We'll just have to check to see how that law was written.
That's the other thing. Will that renew the tax base if they build a whole new tower? Does that should, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, because you're putting new property in, so if it's personal property tax, it should be added to the new
It
price.
declined every year, it's gonna
Should bump right back
go
up.
back up and start over.
Who's making sure that happens? Because I don't like wind turbines, so if they're gonna do that, they need to pay. And I think they also need to be mindful of the height
Mhm.
that they're within. Was it 2.5 times?
I forget
Bottom
what
to
it
the
was.
top times 2.5, however many feet that is, and you can't build within that amount of feet from the residence.
Mhm.
Does that sound right?
It's something like that. I have to check it. It wasn't really a county regulation. It was a
State,
state
yeah, it's a
bill
state.
that was passed that put a setback just for, I think, Allegheny and Garrett counties.
Okay. I wasn't gonna mention it either.
Any unfinished business,
I
Chad?
just lengthened a very short meeting.
You did.
No, I don't have anything else.
Done any fuel cases, we don't have any issues?
Nope. None this month.
Go ahead, Chad, you've got
Yeah.
the floor then.
So I've got two subdivisions. You should have one, Highland Ventures. I've got a couple copies over there. This is one you've already seen. This is just a 7-lot subdivision, part of the WIS PRD approved back in February 2021. The other lots have already been granted final approval. So this is just the last 2 lots, lots 3 and 4, and that will complete this phase of the development. They'd already submitted financial securities for most of the electric and everything, and those have been inspected and approved. There's still an issue with connecting the water to lot 3, so DPU hasn't signed this plat yet, so if you want to approve it, I would do it contingent on them approving it, so I would hold the plats until they do that, which is pretty typical, that you can either submit a bond or install your utilities before we allow them to record, so I would just hold on to the plat and let them sign it once they have all that completed. I think part of it's a weather issue, they just can't hook it, tie it in at this time.
We have any concerns with this one? You don't see any problem, do you, Chad?
No.
Need a motion? Motion,
To
second.
approve to record the plat after you get the utility approval.
Second.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? So moved, Chad.
And then the other one, I should have another plat there where I highlighted the one area. This one's now called the Enclave at Lodestone. I don't think it had a name before. This was preliminary approval of 133 lots. You all granted that back in May of this year. Where it says Common Area 101, that was previously a couple lots. Lot 88 and 89 were in that area. So they've combined that into a common area that they want to have for a possible fitness area or clubhouse. So this is just a revision to the preliminary plat. We've not seen the final plats come through, but they just wanted to submit this to revise the total number of lots.
So if they would do something like that down the road, they'd have to come forward.
To do any final plats, they'll have to bring it back. So basically what the ordinance says is you could submit a final or a preliminary plat like this, and then they could record all 131 lots, or they could start doing phases. That's what we see a lot of times. They'll do different phases. So it all has to be done according to the approved preliminary plat. So this is basically just coming back to kind of a housekeeping thing. Say, hey, we want to combine a couple of those lots just to put it on the record that the preliminary plat will now be 131 lots, I think, now.
I forget that's near the golf course
Yes.
up on top.
Mm-hmm.
I see Golf Drive, so it must be.
Yeah.
Is it contiguous to the course or is it?
Let me see that.
Is this all, are there any buildings on this right now?
Not yet. So on the second page, S111, you can see Lodestone Clubhouse Drive up here.
Okay.
So this is a pretty big section, but that's some of the existing golf course in there.
I think they just started the road, didn't they? I think they.
I've not been back in there to do it. I don't know if they've done any infrastructure work yet or not. I've not been involved in any inspections of it yet. This
A
one's
lot
still
of
kind
houses
of,
though, isn't there?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I thought we already overloaded, for some of the first ones.
well, this one is, again, this is just preliminary, so, any issues with water, infrastructure, everything all needs to be wrapped up before we granted any final approval. This is just more or less a kind of preliminary approval of the lot layout, the general idea.
Because I wasn't here at the May meeting, I don't think, so I don't remember this one.
Maybe
Is
not.
this what NLP had left?
They have transferred this one to a different entity is going to do this one now.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
That's why I was kind of asking, I was kind of thinking.
Yeah,
it was
this-
different if it came from-
Yeah.
Yeah, they were involved at the beginning, and if everybody remembers, so when the bankruptcy happened, then we had a lot of different entities. The ordinance says if you're developing a PRD, it's supposed to be by a single legal entity. So EPT Ski Properties is the single entity that manages this, so they're the ones that kind of get to decide in terms of keeping track of density and everything like that. So they don't have a problem up there where one group develops it and gets to put a bunch of lots without any open space or anything. So they have kind of an overall management. So I get letters from them basically saying, okay, we're going to allow this phase with this many lots.
Any other concerns about this? Motion,
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved, Chad.
Okay. And the other issue I have, I was just gonna remind everybody that, I'll read from the bylaws here. Annually, at its March meeting, the commission shall elect a chairman, vice chairman, and a secretary from among its members. Unfortunately, Larry can't serve, the county commissioner member can't serve as one of those, can't serve as chairman. So the nomination shall be made from the floor, and the election shall follow immediately thereafter. So you can do that at the next meeting.
I may not be able to make the next meeting, but I'm fine with, okay. Keep on going.
Okay.
Anything
I'm
else?
wasting that right now.
Be glad to volunteer him.
Stick with the,
Yeah.
stick with the status quo.
What is it right now beyond Tony? He's
Um,
secretary and vice.
He's the chair, I'm the vice,
And Jeff is the secretary.
Jeff the secretary. Now I'm here to
Okay.
But don't do anything dumb. Don't make me the chair.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we have one in March. April, I'm pretty sure we'll need to have a meeting, because we have some agricultural districts that the Ag Advisory Board is going to be approving in March that we'll probably need to have
That'll be in
approval.
March.
That will be in April. I think we have a meeting set up before, so I'm not sure. I don't really have anything on the horizon for sure for the March meeting, but at our next meeting, we'll do
How
that.
many, there's what, 4 or 5 properties, Mount, last go around?
Last
They
go
all
around, we had
apply?
16 of them.
16,
Yeah.
did they all apply?
They all applied. We haven't heard anything about how many of them might be getting offers. Mouth told us they had a lot of money. They had meetings telling us, hey, if you've got a backlog of people or anything, this is the year to get them in, because we have a really high budget this year. But how that will actually turn out in terms of them getting offers, I don't know yet. It's a long process. I mean, you went through it. I mean, by the time,
Right.
from when you submit to when you actually settle, it could be 2 years for one of these. So it's a long process.
And if they did it this past July, it won't be until next fall before they actually see.
Yeah, so we haven't heard how many of
This
those.
fall, actually.
Yeah, so, but then we have several more that are getting ready to apply this July too, so.
They'll be in a different,
Yeah, be a different fiscal cycle.
yeah. Oh, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in the past, when I was working more directly with it, maybe 5 would be the maximum you ever had in a year, so.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
It really exploded the last couple of years, seen a lot of interest in it.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Oh, we'll adjourn the meeting till next time.